here's the paperwork that we need to fill out when we do a wedding. This is a wedding license. It's one of the licenses that I just did the other day, one of the weddings, and you'll see that there's a lot of, I'm not sure, I'm hoping that this shows up on the camera, but you'll see that up in the top corner here is the marriage license and the license number. It's in red, and you'll need this to also put into your register, into your blue book. So first of all, you'll see that the bride and groom's name, in this case, sometimes it's groom, sometimes it's bride's, but it's always here. On this line, on line 9 and 26, it tells you if they've been married before, never married, widowed, divorced, and it's clicked off. And that will correspond in your book. So what we're going to do is just take a look at the marriage license, and then we'll see how we put it into your book. So here's all the information that you need. Their religious denomination, their age, birth date, province they were born, parents' names, where they were born, and then there's the affidavit that's sworn. This is a little swearing-in ceremony here to that they sign and date, saying that what they've said is true. Here's the address of the people, and this bottom part of the license, it's the long form. This bottom part of the license is what's the most important for us, because this is the part that we are responsible for filling in. First line, this is part 3, form 7, first line, place of marriage. Well, this couple I married in Niagara Falls, so I'll write Niagara Falls, and then it says the county, regional, municipality, or district. Well, it's Niagara Falls, and I know that that's Niagara region. So if you're in Toronto, I believe it's York. If you're in London, it's probably something like Wellington County. You'll know, often up here it will say Niagara Falls, Regional Municipality of Niagara. Oops, can you see that? So if you're not sure, it might even say right in on the license what the municipality is. Over here is the date of the wedding, so you write that in. And here is the signature of the groom and the bride and their witnesses, which is signed during the wedding. This all takes place after the wedding. You don't have to worry about filling all this thing in at the wedding site, because often you don't get it until the very last minute. So here it says signature of the person who performed the marriage. That's you. You sign your name and the date, which corresponds with this date up here. And then they say, please print clearly in blue or black ink. So you're going to put your last name first, and your first name and your middle name. Your status is clergy. Your address, telephone number, the registration number that you were given by the province. Mine is 37975. If you look at your paperwork, you'll see it's usually like a 5-digit number, and that's your number. Call me if you're not sure. And here is denomination. It's the Community Catholic Church of Canada, which is a very long name, and I apologize, but it does fit on that line. So this is the marriage license section. You'll have had 2 parts. One is another sheet which has a tearaway, and that had the record of solemnization of their marriage. So you've filled that in and given it to them already at the wedding. This is the final clear up of the paperwork. So it's kind of bright. I just want to show you this part, if I can get it into the paper. So here is our famous registration of marriage book, and you can follow along with me if you've got yours handy. I'm not sure that this is going to be really apparent on this video, but you'll see that it follows along with the license. Not entirely perfectly, but there's enough that, you know, you just have to be careful which line you put on. So, first thing, were they married by license or banns? It's always going to be license for us unless we have a congregation with where we can do banns. Spouse, used to be bride, bridegroom, but now it's different, which is wonderful. So you look for the never married column. One has been divorced. They've both been divorced. Their names are here. So you see their age. You should put their age in, date of birth, place of birth, Ontario for both of them. Religious denomination. These two were both Roman Catholic, but you might, often it says none given, not applicable, NA. A lot of the people that come to us are going to be people that don't have a church connection, or they might have at one point, but now, you know, they just want a simple wedding. So just write whatever's in that little box. Sometimes it says Catholic, sometimes it says Roman Catholic, sometimes it says Protestant, sometimes it says atheist, whatever it says. You write it in under the religious denomination section. Now, the residence of time of marriage. Usually my couples are already living together. It's very seldom now that I get people that are living separately, unless they're young or you know, the circumstances, but most of them are. So if that's the case, and on the license here is where you find where they live, you transfer that over to residence at the time of marriage on the blue book. And if it's the same, I just write same on this side. You know, it's the same place they live. Now, here, mother and father's name, you transfer it, and you just as it says in the license, last name first. So you transfer that here, and then the corresponding father and mother. Now, I have never, in 27 years, got the residence of the people, of the witnesses. It's probably good practice to do so. I just have never done so. I've only had one occasion where the wedding license has been lost, and they've had to come to me to get their information again. But the province had already the address of the people that were witnesses. So if you want to take the time to get them to sign, the witnesses to sign where they live, that's great. It's not written in stone. Now, the most important part for us, for people who need to get their information, this is a registry of everything that we've, everything that is on this marriage license. On this bottom part of the blue book, which I apologize is kind of washed out. Place of marriage, the address, the county, district or regional municipality, your signature, the date of the wedding, and here it's marriage license or banns, but marriage license is up here at the top on the license. You transfer that down here. The date of the issue is up in the top left corner, right up in the top of the license here. So you write down whatever date they got the license and the place that they got the license. This was a Niagara Falls license. So that gets shifted down to the bottom of your blue book. Date of issue and the place that it was issued. Those are very important if they're trying to find their data, if they should lose their license or their processed certificate. So it's actually a very easy process once you get the hang of it. It takes some time, and if you make a mistake, they ask that you don't use, I used to use correction fluid, but that's a no-no. What they want you to do, and you'll see it sometimes if they've made a mistake at the municipal office, you just, if it's a mistake, you put it in brackets and you initial it, and if anybody else is there that witnessed it, you get their initials too, and then you put in the correct answer for what you need. Say you put in the wrong date, you put it in the bracket, and then you put in the correct date and have it initialed, and you initial it. So that's it. That's that's how you, and then afterwards you fold up this little puppy. You'll have a brown manila envelope. This one's kind of munched up, but it looks like this. And you'll see that it goes right to the Office of the Registrar General. Postage is paid. So you just put this in there. I always secure it with some tape because it never ever seems like it's secure enough for me for these kind of documents. Now the other part of the license, it comes in two parts. Underneath is the record of solemnization of marriage. This is the other half, and I keep this half. And there are instructions for marriage license issuers. That's and instructions for the person solemnizing this marriage. That's us. So it tells us. They can't make it more clear. You just read through this, and it tells you, you know, what to do in case of a mistake. It tells you, you know, the most common things that the form gets sent back for. I've had it happen occasionally where I've forgotten to put in the second date of the wedding or whatever. And you can keep this. And actually, right here is the clergy hotline. If you have any questions for the ministry, you call. It takes them maybe a day to get back to you, but it is the best thing. It's wonderful. So they will talk to you if you have any questions. Now, a lot of questions come up about witnesses. And there is no age limit for a witness. As long as they can write their name and they know what's going on, it's acceptable. I've had kids as young as 7 be witnesses, which seems kind of strange, but there's no age of majority. So if you're at a wedding and there's a child involved, or a, you know, son or daughter who wants to sign the paperwork, that's not an issue. They can do it. I've been on the phone with Thunder Bay twice. As you're filling out the record of solemnization, the names of the people are right here on the form. So you just, these were long names. These people were from France. You just fill it out exactly on the form. And I think that's about it. If you have any questions, call me. But it's really not a difficult process.